back, Bullheaded Podcast. I am here with Zoo and Peebush. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Crushed at work, but it keeps me up to watch those Western Conference playoff games, man. So
Yes, sir.
I can't complain. Keeping up on the NBA, and this has been a hell of a playoff run so far. So
And yesterday, that Western Conference game was phenomenal. One of the best games all year. We saw the star. Oh, actually, no, one star show out in Donovan Mitchell. I don't know what happened to the Clippers stars, but one guy showed up. Incredible, man. Incredible.
It was a great game.
Great game. So, we had some really epic playoff games last night. Embiid put a 40-piece up, flex his muscles in the Atlanta Hawks series. Donovan Mitchell, I think, put up a cool 45 against the Clippers. You know, they kind of got out to a slow start, and I thought the Clippers were going to steal game one. But, Utah showed why they're the number one seed. And, it's just a lot of cool things that's been going throughout the playoffs. And I wanted to get the guys' thoughts on, what's been impressive so far in these second-round matchups. And, Peebush, I'm going to start with you, man. What's impressed you the most?
Dude, I will say, man, the Jazz for me, because I don't know if anybody watched the entire game, but that first quarter, man, they missed like 19 or 20 shots in a row.
In a row.
And it was just ugly to watch. And the funny part is the Clippers did not take advantage. That was the biggest issue for me. But hey, it turned into a hell of a game. We had D Wade advising on the sideline with Gabrielle Union, man. When I saw that clip and he was advising Mitchell, I was like, there's no way that man heard a damn thing of what Wade said. But he nodded because he knew that, whatever Wade was saying was probably the correct thing. So, the Jazz impressed me with how they were able to come back. Rudy Gobert with a huge block there at the end. That's what he's there to do. Little perimeter defense from Rudy. That was a bit of a rare sighting. So definitely that series that popped out to me. But Hawks game one, man. The Hawks game one against the Sixers was pretty surprising. They almost choked it in the end. They did.
Oh, they were. It looked like a college game at the end, man.
It did. It was just turnover,
double
court
TV.
pressing. Yep, exactly. We never see that. We never see that in the NBA. But the Hawks needed to steal one. They needed to steal one in Philly, man. Screw Philly fans. I think we can all agree they're one of the worst fan bases. Sorry for anybody from Philadelphia, but you guys. That was a huge game for the Hawks. I think that, obviously the 76ers rebounded, pun intended, and Embiid popped off, a little chip on his shoulder after that Jokic MVP nod. But that series could end up being pretty interesting. I think that it'll end up going back and forth, not similarly to like the Blazers Nuggets series necessarily, but I think that, that game, that series could go 6 or 7, just with how hot the Hawks can get. But also how cold they can get, as we saw last night too. So definitely the Jazz coming back. That was a big thing for me. But also seeing the Hawks take game one, that was a hell of a game, man. I'm not even going to comment on the Nets because we all expected that.
Oh yeah, man. For me, man, the Donovan Mitchell superstar run continues to go, man. Last year's bubble run dropping 50 points. Now your first game against the Clippers drops 45. I don't know. There's something wrong with the Clippers defense on these elite guards, man, because they can't guard any of them. Like Donovan Mitchell in the second half, dude, he looked like the best player on the court. And you got Kawhi Leonard, who was absolutely a Terminator against the Dallas Mavericks.
Yep.
Dude was automatic on the mid-range, the three-point shot dropping 45 in a game-clinching win. I'm just like, Kawhi Leonard was on another level. Like, he was on another level against the Dallas Mavericks with Finney Smith guarding him. But then Donovan Mitchell, without his sidekick, Mike Conley.
Oh, that's his sidekick?
It is his sidekick. It's not a sidekick that I would want on a team, but that's their number 2 option. Like primary ball handler as the point guard position and playmaker outside of Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell had to pick up the slack. Because like Joe Ingles, like that dude's a bench player, man. He's a bench player. Jordan Clarkson, that dude's a bucket. He ain't no playmaker. So Donovan Mitchell, primary ball handler, creator, and bucket getter, and he got it done. And it took a 45-point piece against the Clippers, who Pandemic Pete came back again, man. He came back again with the vengeance, missing every shot, man. Like, one clutch 3 down in the fourth quarter, but outside of that, he was horrendous on the offensive. Can't buy a bucket. He had some good looks. Like, he had some like wide open 3-point shots. He was just bricking every shot. So like Pandemic Pete struck again. So. Man,
he needs a bucket vaccine or something like that, man. That's
dude, legit, man. Like, it's like becoming the norm, and I'm just getting flashbacks at OKC pandemic B against Donovan Mitchell as a rookie who whooped his ass with Russell Westbrook on that team. So I'm just getting flashbacks of that again. And Donovan Mitchell is like his freaking dad right now. He owns Paul George, man. Dude is unbelievable. As a 6'1", 6'2" guy, like this is a small dude. He's a 2 guard, but he's the size of a point. Like he's the size of a point guy. And
pushing AI size.
And he's dominating like crossovers, one-on-one isolation, pull-up jumpers. Like and getting to the free throw line consistently. Like what Donovan Mitchell is doing is making himself in superstar status right now. Because this dude has as many 40-point games as Karl Malone.
Yeah.
And the guy's made the playoffs like 3. I'm like, what the? This dude was a rookie like a couple of years ago, and this dude dropping 40-point like games like as nothing right now. So I'm just like, Donovan Mitchell has been absolutely incredible, but
he outscored Kawhi and he outscored Kawhi and PG combined.
Combined, and that's what's gonna take to beat the Clippers. Because like the Dallas Mavericks series, Clippers are the better team. Like, especially without Mike Conley, they're way more talented. So, like,
way more.
I feel like Ty Lue got a little more extra street credit now. His coaching skills against the Dallas Mavericks. So, if he makes a couple of adjustments, clean the lineups a lot. Like, he was playing like 11 dudes. Like, we saw a lot of dudes off the bench getting minutes. And finally, he's playing Luke Kennard more, who's flat out sniper. Luke Kennard is good. He's a bucket, man. He is a great three-point shooter. Like, his defense, he got targeted. I felt bad for Luke Kennard at the end of the game because Donovan Mitchell was just like, pick and roll. Get me out. Luke Kennard. All day, isolation, get to the lane, jack up three-pointers. Like, they were picking on Luke Kennard, which I love in the playoffs where you pick on the guy that's bad at defense. But, yeah, the Utah Jazz are the worst team. So I still believe that the Clippers are going to get this done. But, man, after losing game 1, man, it might take 7 games to get it done.
That's what I'm saying, too. I got Clippers in 7, man. I got Clippers in 7. But, I feel like a lot of these series that we got going on here in the semis, I think that a lot of them could go 6 or 7. I mean, I know the Nets blew out and KD.
Bro, that was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
I thought it was going to be a competitive series, man. I thought it was going to be a 6 or 7 game series with the addition of Drew Holiday. But, oh, my God, the second game was unwatchable.
You want to know why, Zoo? I think it's because the Nets are so good at just transition. They score quickly.
But they're without James Harden. They're doing this without James Harden.
We've talked about this, Zoo. We've all talked about this on the podcast. That they only need 2 out of the 3, man. They only need 2 out of the 3 to win a game.
And Blake Griffin's been showing up too.
Yeah, he had a nice first quarter. I think he scored.
He owes Detroit Pistons money back, man. The guy they got in Blake Griffin was a fake Blake Griffin, and then he shows up to the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, he was an imposter, and now he's getting $1 million on the Brooklyn Nets, and the dude's playing like an all-star. Like he pulled a disappearing act and a reappearing act, man. Like Blake Griffin finessed the Detroit Pistons so hard.
It's just like Harden did with the Rockets, putting a bodysuit under himself, man, making himself look fatter than he actually is.
He got a fat suit on, man. On the media, catch that.
Hey, man, the media catches it. It's going to become a story, and that's the same thing that happened with Blake as it did with James Harden. But look, man, KD is just looking like the greatest scorer of all time right now. Nobody.
32 points in 3 quarters, and Giannis was guarding him some of the time, and he was
took it personally.
He's killing Giannis, man.
He did a Michael Jordan. I took it personally, man. And that's, he's gotten comparisons that, him and other players combined is, if they were to have a baby, it'd be Giannis. That whole thing.
Disrespect.
Get out of here.
That's the
absolute disrespect. You're talking to a top 3, if not, top 2 scorer of all time in Kevin Durant. And I think the Nets will get it done. I do have the Bucks winning I have the Bucks winning 1 game.
They better win next game because going down 3-0, that's just embarrassing. Not even the Boston Celtics with Jaylen Brown. They got to win, and that team was awful.
They got 1 win with and that was with Harden. And that was with Harden.
Yeah, Harden was balling that series. I'm just like, without James Harden, like, come on, man, because I thought this series was going to be competitive. And Chris Middleton. Where is Chris Middleton?
No show.
What
no show in game 1. Nobody showed up in game 2. Nobody showed up in game 2.
6 for 23. That's 26% in a playoff series on high volume shooting.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to Chris Middleton, man? He's getting paid max money, man. He better show up right now.
He's blinded by the light, man. He's blinded by the light right now. He's getting.
Man, he doesn't even have to guard James Harden because the dude's been injured this entire series.
He's guarding what? Joe Harris, I think, maybe.
I don't know who he's guarding, but he ain't guarding Kevin Durant because they have PJ Tucker on him. He's getting destroyed. Giannis, like, my God, the only thing you do to KD is a double team.
Contain him. You got to try and contain him as much as you can. But dude, another performance that I was very pleasantly surprised by was CP3's fourth quarter. Man,
he looks back. He looks
back, and you know, I'm watching that game and I'm thinking, you know, he had a rough start to the game. I think he was like 3 of 9 through the first 3, but he had like 9 assists. He was mainly passing the ball the entire game. But he realized, hey man, we need to pull away. And here comes CP3 back in the fourth quarter. He goes like 4 for 4, 5 for 5, gets his field goal percentage for the game up above 50%, and he takes it away, man. The Suns Nuggets series, I think, you know, we got a game 2 tonight. That could be a hell of a series, but Jokic is going to have to average 40 for them.
Yeah, he needs to put up an MVP performance every single night. Like against the Blazers, the dude averaged 30 plus points and 10 rebounds. So I'm just like, he needs to be transcendently great. And DeAndre Ayton has been unbelievable this playoff performance. Like we all made the jokes like Luka Doncic, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton. That dude got picked number 1 overall. What a scrub. But this dude showed up, man, against Anthony Davis. He showed up against AD. And now he showed up against the Joker.
Yep.
So he
was the top 3 big men
now. Yeah. This dude's balling against some of the greatest big men of all time and versatile big men of all time. And he's holding his own. He's a physical guy. He has high skill for a 7-footer. He got a nice little touch, man. And I don't know, like the fit, and he just fits well within the roster. Like the roster is actually constructed really well with the 2 elite backcourt mates, and then the nice 3-and-D type guys like Mikal Bridges, got Cam Johnson, hitting threes. Bridges. Yeah, he's showing why people say he was a 3-and-D guy out of college. The scouts were right, man. He is playing his role to perfection, like when he was on Nova. So I'm just like, right now, the Phoenix Suns right now, with CP3 regaining that shoulder, like he dropped 20 and 10, like no injured Chris Paul dropping 20 and 10. So I'm giving himself like almost fully recovered. So CP3, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, you got to get it done. You got to get it done.
They do.
You got to get it done against the team without their second best player.
I got him in 6.
You got him in 6 games? Man. Yeah, I got to agree with that because just, man, the Phoenix Suns might make it to the conference finals, man. You go
from make it to the finals.
You go from out of the playoffs to a potential finals appearance. There might be the favorite up there with the Utah Jazz right now with the Clippers. I'm just like, wow. Chris Paul, man, what a year makes, man. You're from a non-bubble. They didn't even make in the play-in tournament last year. They didn't make in the play-in tournament, and now they have an opportunity to move on to the Western Conference Finals and NBA Finals. Wow, this is a dope. Yeah, pretty much. Like the young guys got better, obviously, but CP3 elevating everyone around him, unbelievable.
Best game manager in the NBA, man.
The unbelievable story, man. Chris Paul, man. If he gets a title this year, okay, his career is solidified.
100%.
Solidified, man.
It's already pretty much there. He's about 90%, but he needs that extra 10, man.
Man, his career is solidified. But man, I got to shout out another point guard in the East, Trae Young, against this Philadelphia 76ers defense with Matisse Thybulle, Ben Simmons, Danny Green. These are all like bigger type wings. He's dominating as a 6'1" dude, like a $180, man. It's a small, scrawny dude. Like he's 180, 6'1". Like he's not a physical guy. And he is dominating in a series against an elite defense right now. Like what Trae Young's done this series against the Philadelphia, even getting that game 1, I was shocked, man. The way they dominated in the first half. And just, it was a clinic until the end. When they started choking at that, Nick McMillan had no timeouts left, so they couldn't even advance the ball. Couldn't even get the ball in bounds. But Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, my Lord, dude, these guys in Atlanta, man, these are some young kids. Like, they got no veterans. Like, who's their veteran?
None.
Lou Will? Yeah,
and that dude's
like that's like the most immature veteran ever. Going to a strip club, man. In a pandemic, man, come on, man. Like, come on. Lou Will, he a fake veteran. So these young guys under a Nate McMillan coach winning against a Philadelphia 76ers team that's been trusting the process for half a decade now. And this Hawks team caught up in a year pretty much from a non-playoff team to a playoff contender. What Atlanta's doing is incredible, man. I got to shout out the Atlanta Hawks. Good.
Yeah,
that's where the Bulls should be, man.
But Zoo, they're looking good, but I still got Sixers in 6, man. I think Embiid's got a chip on his shoulder after that MVP announcement, man.
It's crazy, though. The guy tore his meniscus, and it's like a little tear. That's what they say, a little tear. Putting out 40 points a game on a torn knee.
Yep.
Against Clint Capella. It was a good defender. He's a rim runner. He's a defender, and Joel Embiid make him look like a baby out there, man. Like, Joel Embiid has improved so much in his game with the front court game, the dribbling. Yeah. Now he's like facing Clint Capella. Instead of back to the basket, he's facing up, doing jab step, doing guard moves, and getting buckets. So, my man,
great series, man.
Yeah, shout out to this ATL, man. Shout out to ATL's trade on Hawks.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of great series that's been going on in the NBA, and I think it's just going to get a whole lot better. You know, selfishly, I'm hoping I can see Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell in the conference finals, just so I can see a type of scenario where a young guard gets to the finals. So, going to be looking forward to that. On this last topic, I want to get the guys' quick thoughts on Julio Jones. I know it happened a little bit earlier in the week, but I wanted to see, does this shift the power balance? Does it make it seem like they're Super Bowl favorite? Will they get out of their own division in the AFC South? I want to get the guys' quick thoughts on what they think this Julio trade makes as an impact. And Zoo, I want to start with you.
Zero impact, man. I'm saying it. Yeah, it's a sexy trade, man. You trade some draft picks for Julio Jones, who's been one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. Like, this dude's like the most consistent guy of getting 1,000-yard seasons. He's got no ego. He is a 6'2" guy, great straight, great hands, no ego. Like, this dude's the epitome of a star receiver. But he's 32, man. He's past his prime, man.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm telling you right now. And Ryan Tannehill. I know you love Ryan Tannehill because he won you a fantasy football championship.
Of course.
So you got a little love for Tannehill. He's a nice
QB. Place right here, baby.
He's a nice QB, like not a star, but not a bust. He's just a nice little average QB. You go win with him if you got the nice talent around him. And that's what they're doing, giving him another weapon. But dude, first of all, the entire offense is through Derrick Henry. That's how you're going to win games. It's going to be through Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry and my A.J. Brown's still number one receiver. Like, Julio Jones is a number two receiver. Number two receivers don't make it high impact on championship teams, right? Number two receivers? What has a number two receiver be the reason that pushes a team over the edge?
That's a good question. I mean, there's no like explicit way to say it. I mean, you could argue like an Antonio Brown last year was a difference maker for the Bucs, and he was a third option. I mean, look, I don't know what. Yeah, he's old, but they didn't give up a first rounder. I think that's a big thing. They didn't lose a first round draft pick, and they did actually retain AJ Brown. They did lose Corey Davis, which that was a big loss. He caught him and Jonnu Smith, they combined for like 200 catches last year, and they needed to make that up in some way, somehow, right? And by adding Julio Jones, that's the damn best option they could have gotten, man. I don't care if he's 32. He's got 2 to 3 years more left in him, I think. I know he has some hamstring issues.
You think he's going to be a pro bowler? Like Pro Bowl type receiver? No. 1,000-yard season.
He'll have 1,000 yards. He'll have 1,000 yards with probably like 4 touchdowns, if I were to guess. Like, that would probably be my guess.
4 touchdowns? That's limited impact, man. Like, Corey Davis had a higher impact last year.
But Zoo, he's also there to mentor AJ Brown, which, if I'm being honest, Julio Jones has been great at mentoring, man. We've seen him do it with Calvin Ridley. We saw him get mentored by Roddy White, as I've mentioned in past podcasts too. As you said, no ego. He knows exactly what he's doing. He goes out, he treats it like his job, man, as he should, right? It is a job at the end of the day. And he is the epitome of a guy, along with like a Calvin Johnson, right, back in the day. Those were 2 of the guys that they treated it like a job, and they performed way above expectations, no matter how high those expectations were. And look, they have a poor division. The AFC South is a very poor division. We got the Texans. horrible situation down there in Houston. Across all sports, let's be honest, but in the NFL specifically. Jacksonville, they have a bright future, I think, but I don't think it's going to get done, year over year in just 1 year, right? With Trevor Lawrence, I don't think it's going to make a difference, even if they do add Tim Tebow. And then you got the Colts. Now, the Colts was interesting just because we don't really know what Carson Wentz is going to show up as. But look, man, I think that the Titans are the favorite for the division. Now, does it make them Super Bowl favorites? I don't know. I still have the Bills and the Chiefs above them, but I think they're a way more solid number 3 option now. And they could scare teams, man. You got to remember, now when they run Derrick Henry, every team that plays against him has to cover Henry. And, they have Derrick Henry running out of the backfield. But now they need to have 2 corners covering 2 great wide receivers in the league. And which defense could do that, man? There's not many.
Not many. Man, but the problem is, man, so you're saying they can't win, you don't even have them as a favorite of winning a Super Bowl after this move. So how big of an impact can it be?
It's a big impact, too. I think they could easily make the AFC Championship game.
No, the reason that 1 year when Derrick Henry was being a beast and when they were winning playoff series was because of their defense. It was because of their elite defense with the high-powered running game, controlling pace, and the problem with the Titans is their defense is not that good anymore, and Julio ain't playing defense right now. Like, they're trying to improve their offense, and like Ryan Tannehill, he's a nice quarterback, but he ain't going to be throwing 2,000-yard guys like Aaron Rodgers. Like Ryan Tannehill is just a nice running quarterback.
It's all on him now.
As an option. Yeah,
it's all on Tannehill.
And I don't want that, man. I want a reliable defense, and when you have a quarterback who's not as good, defense and running the ball is the way to go, and having a couple of third down conversions is the way to get it done. So, yeah, man, Tennessee Titans, man, I enjoyed the move. Fantasy reasons, Julio's dropping, and I might take Julio in the 6th, 7th round.
A little steal.
Yeah. His value is all the way down. Go from a second rounder to probably a late 5th or 6th rounder. But my, like that's the way to get it done. So. Man, it looks like our boy Sean, our producer, we lost him during our podcast today. Got a low battery on his computer, so I guess I'll be closing it out. Thank you guys for watching or listening to the podcast. Subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Man, sorry about being a shorter podcast. We got some technical difficulty. It was a low battery right now, so we lost our producer, and I don't even know if we can close it out through StreamYard, but have a good weekend, everyone. Yo, I already stopped this.
I think we have to leave.
Does this automatically save?
I mean, he can cut it down. You got to remember that.
Does it save automatically?
Yeah, I think it does. I think we have to leave the studio for it to actually stop recording, though.
Okay, does he have another link?
His computer dropped so quick.
Yeah, it's a freaking 9%. He died after that.
That's so unfortunate, man.
Yeah, dude, it went from 46% to 9% within like 20 minutes.
That's unbelievable. Mine only dropped 13%. But yeah, 50%. If it's an older computer, man, it drops. My PC as it was hitting its last life, man, it just dropped in like an hour from like 100 down to like 50. So,
oh really?
Yeah, but all right, Zoo. I think we have to leave the studio for it to actually save.
No, okay, cool.
But all right, dude. Oh man, I don't want to work. Shit.
The audit will get done regardless, man.
Well, I don't have a staff. That's the worst part about it.
I'd be like, yo, manager, help me prepare.
Oh yeah, she's great. She's helping me out a lot, but oh well. All right. But all right, Zoo. I'll talk to you soon, man.
See you, man.